How's it going, guys? Welcome back to All About Indy with Racer Historian, and today we are talking about the Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio. Before we talk about that, winner at Road America 2 weeks ago, I believe, was Alex Palou, and for the Indy Next race was Kyle Collette. So for the first time in Indy Next, there was 3 winners, and also for the first time in Indy Next, one from another team besides Andretti Global has won. That is Kyle Collette from H&D Motorsports. Anyways, we're talking about Mid-Ohio for IndyCar and Indy Next. So, for practice 1, Kyle Kirkwood topped the charts. Pato O'Ward was in 2nd. Alex Palou was in 3rd. Joseph Newgarden in 4th. Marcus Ericsson in 5th. Kiffin Simpson in 6th. Colton Herta in 7th. Graham Rahal in 8th. Christian Lundgaard in 9th. Marcus Armstrong in 10th. Nolan Siegel in 11th. Devlin DiFrancesco in 12th, Santina Ferrucci in 13th, Christian Rasmussen in 14th, Scott McLaughlin in 15th, Louis Foster in 16th, Scott Dixon in 17th, Callum Ilott in 18th, Connor Daly in 19th, Alexander Rossi in 20th, Will Power in 21st, Stingray Robb in 22nd, Jacob Abel in 23rd, Rinus VeeKay in 24th, David Malukas in 25th, Robert Schwartzman in 26th, and Felix Rosenqvist in 27th. In practice 2, Alex Palou was 1st, Christian Lundgaard was in 2nd, Louis Foster was in 3rd, Pato O'Ward in 4th, Felix Rosenqvist in 5th, Colton Herta in 6th, Scott Dixon in 7th, Kiffin Simpson in 8th, Kyle Kirkwood in 9th, Christian Rasmussen in 10th, Joseph Newgarden in 11th, Marcus Ericsson in 12th, Marcus Armstrong in 13th, Nolan Siegel in 14th, Will Power in 15th, Scott McLaughlin in 16th, Callum Ilott in 17th, Connor Daly in 18th, David Malukas in 19th, Devlin DiFrancesco in 20th, Graham Rahal in 21st, Stingray Robb in 22nd, Alexander Rossi in 23rd, Santina Ferrucci in 24th, Rinus VeeKay in 25th, Jacob Abel in 26th, and Robert Schwartzman in 25th. For qualifying, Alex Palou was on pole again today. Christian Lundgaard was in 2nd. Kiffin Simpson was in 3rd. Nolan Siegel was in 4th. Colton Herta was in 5th. Louis Foster was in 6th. Kyle Kirkwood in 7th. Marcus Armstrong in 8th. Scott Dixon in 9th. Christian Rasmussen in 10th. Marcus Ericsson in 11th. Alexander Rossi in 12th. Connor Daly in 13th. David Malukas in 14th. Pato O'Ward in 15th. Felix Rosenqvist in 16th, Santina Ferrucci in 17th, Joseph Newgarden in 18th, Stingray Robb in 19th, Graham Rahal in 20th, Scott McLaughlin in 21st, Will Power in 22nd, Devlin DiFrancesco in 23rd, Callum Ilott in 24th, Jacob Abel in 25th, Rinus VeeKay in 26th, and Robert Schwartzman in 20th. Christian Rasmussen has received a grid penalty. He was originally in 10th and will be starting in 11th, which moves Marcus Ericsson up to 10th. Struggle for Team Penske's Newgarden starting in 18th, McLaughlin in 21st, and Power in 22nd. I believe during practice there was some drama between Will Power and Alex Palou. Power was on the track still doing his laps, and Palou got out on his outlap and kind of slowed down Power there a bit. But that is all we have for IndyCar, and as you get to Indy Next here, for practice 1, Lockie Hughes topped the charts. Dennis Hauger was in 2nd. Callum Hedge was in 3rd. Salvador de Alba in 4th. Kyle Collette in 5th, Jack William Miller in 6th, Miles Rowe in 7th, Ricardo Escoto in 8th, Evagoras Papasavis in 9th, Josh Pearson in 10th, Sebastian Murray in 11th, Nolan Aller in 12th, Tommy Smith in 13th, Juan Manuel Correa in 14th, Niels Coolin in 15th, Bryce Aaron in 16th, James Rowe in 17th, Jordan Missick in 18th, and Haley Deegan in 19th. For practice 2, Kyle Collette topped the charts. Dennis Hauger was in 2nd, Callum Hedge was in 3rd, Salvador de Alba was in 4th, Ricardo Escoto in 5th, Lockie Hughes in 6th, Jack William Miller in 7th, James Rowe in 8th, Jordan Missick in 9th, Juan Manuel Correa in 10th, Sebastian Murray in 11th, Bryce Aaron in 12th, Josh Pearson in 13th, Evagoras Papasavis in 14th, Nolan Aller in 15th, Niels Coolin in 16th, Tommy Smith in 17th, Miles Rowe in 18th, and Haley Deegan in 19th. Qualifying, Dennis Hauger was on the pole. Kyle Collette was in 2nd, Lockie Hughes was in 3rd, Josh Pearson was in 4th, Salvador de Alba was in 5th, Callum Hedge was in 6th, Bryce Aaron in 7th, Jordan Missick in 8th, Evagoras Papasavas in 9th, Jack William Miller in 10th, Juan Manuel Correa in 11th, Sebastian Murray in 12th, Miles Rowe in 13th, Nolan Aller in 14th, James Rowe in 15th, Ricardo Escoto in 16th, Niels Coolin in 17th, Tommy Smith in 18th, and Haley Deegan in 19th. Here are the odds for Mid-Ohio. Today we are only doing the top 10 like usual. Alex Palou, Pato O'Ward, Kyle Kirkwood, Scott McLaughlin, Joseph Newgarden, Colton Herta, Christian Lundgaard, Will Power, Scott Dixon, and David Malukas. The best chance is obviously Palou or Kirkwood. Palou is probably the best since he's won on road courses, but Scott Dixon has won here multiple times before, so I believe he can get it done. Graham Rahaal's kind of starting towards the back. He's won here before. Maybe he might have a chance to win it. You think about drivers that have never won before in their career, but just have been having good finishes. Kiffin Simpson, Christian Rasmussen, David Malukas, Santino Ferrucci. Those are like 4 drivers that have never won an IndyCar before that I think that have a really good chance to win at Mid-Ohio tomorrow. Now let's go on to IndyCar news. TV audience on Fox for Road America wasn't as good as last year's. Fox's audience was down 10% from last year's on USA. So this year it had about 700,000 people. Last year about 800,000. Even though it did peak at 900,000. 21 cars did a test at Iowa Speedway, and it was led by Connor Daly. It has been announced that Thermal Club won't return to IndyCar next year, and there have been tons of rumors about maybe IndyCar going to Mexico in replacement for Thermal. Toyota has been named the foundational partner for next year's inaugural Arlington Grand Prix. Hollinger Racing is looking to have a tech alliance, but this time with an F1 team. Alex Rosenquist's livery for Mid-Ohio is honoring Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath. There has been an engineering change for Marcus Ericsson, and Marcus Ericsson's livery for Mid-Ohio is Fox Sports. Kyle Kirkwood's livery for Mid-Ohio is Honda, and Alex Palou's livery for Mid-Ohio is OpenAI. Team Penske has appointed 2 more leaders for their team, and that is all the IndyCar news we have. There is only one Indy Next news we have. Indy Next did have an open test at Milwaukee. Unfortunately, rain interrupted it, but it was led by Miles Rowe. That is all we have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching episode 9. Episode 10 will be on Wednesday, July 9th. The reason why is because I'll be going to both Iowa races for Indy Next, but also the doubleheader for IndyCar, and we are leaving on Thursday. So Wednesday, there won't be anything going on at the time, but I will tell you when stuff starts, and I'll also put the results in the posts, so keep an eye on those. For Indy Next, the race will start tomorrow at 10:30 on FS1. We'll be on FS1 at 9 tomorrow, and the race will be on Fox at 1. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday for Cup IndyCar race weekend. Think 275 in the farm to finish 275, and for Indy Next by Firestone at Iowa Speedway. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys later. Peace.